The true cost of a boundary you never set. Do you ever find yourself saying yes with a smile while on the inside you're screaming no? You convince yourself you're just keeping the peace or being helpful, but what you're really doing is building a wall of resentment, one painful brick at a time. You tell yourself it's just easier to go along with it, to take on that extra project, go to that party you're dreading, or listen to that friend who only ever talks about themselves. But that silence, that easy, accommodating nod, has a hidden cost. It's a price that's so quiet, so sneaky, you might not even realize you're paying it until you're emotionally bankrupt. The most dangerous part of being a people pleaser isn't just the exhaustion. It's that you're slowly erasing your own identity and you don't even see it happening. Today, we are going to uncover the true, devastating cost of that silence. We'll explore the deep damage it does to your self-worth, your relationships, and your spirit. And most importantly, we're going to lay out a clear path for you to start reclaiming the most important person in your life, you. It always starts so innocently. You're known as the reliable one, the helpful one, the easygoing one. And that feels good, doesn't it? To be needed, to feel appreciated. Your boss needs someone to stay late, and all eyes land on you because you've never said no before. Your friend calls in a panic, needing a last-minute favor that completely destroys your weekend plans. You want to say, I can't, I'm exhausted. But what actually comes out is, of course, no problem at all. Each time this happens, you make a silent agreement. It's an agreement to put someone else's comfort, needs, or happiness before your own. You think you're earning their love or respect, but what you're really doing is teaching them that your time, your energy, and your needs are less valuable than theirs. You're not just being kind, you are getting stuck in a pattern of self-abandonment that has devastating consequences. People-pleasing isn't just a quirky habit, it's a compulsive drive to avoid conflict and get validation at any cost. And that cost is far higher than you think. So what's the real price you pay for every boundary you fail to set? It's so much more than just a little inconvenience. It's a domino effect of losses that eats away at the very foundation of who you are. First, there's the cost of resentment. That yes you said through gritted teeth doesn't just vanish. It grows. It turns into a quiet, simmering resentment that poisons you from the inside out. You start to feel annoyed with the person who asked, but you also feel this deep frustration with yourself for not speaking up. This resentment becomes the background music to your life. It leaks out in passive-aggressive comments, in sarcasm, or in a sudden emotional outburst that seems to come from nowhere. But it came from everywhere, from every favor you did when you were running on empty, every opinion you swallowed, and every need you ignored. This isn't a foundation for a healthy relationship. It's a slow-burning fire that eventually consumes any genuine affection you once had. Second, and maybe the most terrifying, is the cost of your identity. When you spend years putting everyone else's preferences first, you start to forget your own. What movie do you want to watch? What are your career goals? What makes you feel alive? The answers get fuzzy. You become a chameleon, perfectly blending into the expectations of everyone around you. This identity erosion is a silent epidemic among people pleasers. You lose touch with your authentic self because you've been playing a role for so long, the role of the person who's always easygoing and never has needs of their own. You end up in relationships, jobs, and even entire lives that feel fake because they weren't built by you, but by the collection of yeses you gave to others. Third is the cost to your self-worth. Setting a boundary is an act of self-respect. It's you declaring that your needs, your time, and your energy are valuable. When you consistently fail to set boundaries, you send a powerful and destructive message to your own subconscious. I don't matter. You teach yourself that your well-being comes second. This creates a vicious cycle. Low self-esteem makes it hard to set boundaries, and failing to set them demolishes your self-esteem even more. You start looking for validation from the outside because you don't have a solid sense of your own worth on the inside. You end up believing you're only as good as what you can do for other people. And finally, there's the cost of burnout. Your body and mind are not infinite resources. By constantly saying yes, you overcommit yourself to the point of complete physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion. Burnout isn't just feeling tired. It's a state of chronic stress that leaves you feeling depleted, cynical, and useless. You feel like you're failing to meet all the demands, which just reinforces that feeling of being inadequate and overwhelmed. The very thing you did to feel worthy, being helpful, has now made you incapable of helping anyone, especially yourself. If you're nodding along with all of this, please know that you are not weak and you are not alone. People-pleasing isn't a character flaw. For so many of us, it's a deeply ingrained survival tool we learned in childhood. Psychologists often talk about the fawn trauma response. Along with fight, flight, or freeze, fawning is the attempt to avoid a threat by trying to please it. If you grew up in a home where love was conditional, where you had to be good or easy to get affection, or where you had to manage your parents' emotions, you learned that your safety depended on making other people happy. Your needs felt dangerous. Their needs were the only ones that mattered. This pattern is driven by powerful primal fears. The fear of rejection is huge. The belief that if you say no, people won't like you or love you anymore. There's the fear of conflict. You'd rather suffer internally than risk an argument or someone else's anger. And there's the fear of being seen as selfish, a label that feels like a death sentence to a people pleaser. So you sacrifice your own well-being on the altar of keeping the peace, never realizing you're waging a war against yourself. If this is resonating with you, take a moment and let me know in the comments. What's the one yes you wish you could take back? It's so powerful to see that you're not the only one. And if you're finding this video helpful, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe for more content on how to build a life on your own terms. Okay, we've talked about the devastating cost. It's heavy stuff, I know. But the beautiful thing is, this is not a life sentence. You can change this pattern. Let's talk about how to start fixing it. Step 1, reframe your guilt. The moment you set your first real boundary, you're going to feel a tidal wave of guilt. Your brain will scream at you that you are being selfish, mean, or difficult. This is the single biggest hurdle. Here's the reframe. Guilt isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something different. It's the discomfort of growth. It's your old survival programming fighting back. When you feel that guilt, I want you to tell yourself, this feeling is the evidence that I am finally choosing myself. Be kind to yourself through this. Step 2, use resentment as your compass. That feeling of resentment you've been trying to ignore, it's now your greatest tool. Resentment is a bright, flashing arrow pointing directly at a boundary that has been crossed. Instead of swallowing it, get curious about it. When you feel that familiar bitterness rising, ask yourself, What boundary is this feeling telling me I need to set? Let it guide you. Let it be the fuel for your change. Step 3. Start small and build the muscle. Setting boundaries is a skill, and just like any skill, it takes practice. You wouldn't walk into a gym for the first time and try to lift the heaviest weight, right? You start small. Don't try to begin with a life-altering no to your most difficult family member. Start with low-stakes situations. When a coworker asks for a non-urgent favor, try saying, I can't right now, but I can take a look tomorrow. When a friend asks you to hang out and you're just drained, say, I'd love to see you, but I really need a quiet night in tonight. Can we reschedule for next week? These small wins build your confidence and strengthen your boundary setting muscle. Repetition is what rewires your brain. Step 4, master a few simple scripts. You don't need a long, complicated explanation. In fact, over-explaining usually just weakens your boundary. One of the most powerful phrases you can learn is simply no. It's a complete sentence. But if that feels too harsh at first, have a few simple, polite, and firm phrases ready to go. Thank you for thinking of me, but that doesn't work for me. I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to have to pass. I'm not able to commit to that right now. No apology, no justification, just a calm, clear statement. When you start changing the rules of a relationship, not everyone will be happy about it, especially the people who have been benefiting from your lack of boundaries. They might call you selfish. They might get angry. They might try to guilt trip you. Expect it. This pushback doesn't mean your boundary is wrong. It means it's working. Remember, it is not your job to manage their emotional reaction to your boundary. Your job is to calmly hold your ground. Healthy people will respect your new limits, even if it takes them a minute to adjust. Unhealthy people will show you who they really are. So what's waiting for you on the other side of all this difficult, uncomfortable work? Everything. When you start setting boundaries, you begin to build authentic relationships. People start to respect you, not for what you can do for them, but for who you are. The takers and manipulators might fall away, but they will be replaced by people who value the real you. You will reclaim your energy. Just imagine all the time and emotional space that will open up when you stop doing things out of obligation. You can finally invest that energy back into your own goals, your own joy, and your own well-being. And most importantly, you will find yourself again. That quiet voice inside you that knows what it wants will get louder and clearer. Your self-respect will return, not because anyone gave it to you, but because you earned it by showing up for yourself day after day. The true cost of a boundary you never set is your own life. It's the slow, silent chipping away of your identity, your peace, and your self-worth. But it doesn't have to be your story. This change isn't about becoming a colder, meaner person. It's about finally allowing your real, authentic self to show up in the world. It's about realizing that you can be a kind, loving person who also has firm boundaries. In fact, that's the only way to genuinely be one. Start today. Start small. Choose yourself because you are worth protecting. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you, please consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear this message. And don't forget to subscribe for more ways to stop abandoning yourself and start living a life that is truly your own.